I've never been married. And so the fact that somebody could live for 40 years with someone and be devoted to that person is something that moves me. And
She spent a lifetime acting out love stories, yet lived her final decades alone. Diane Keaton, never married and publicly single for more than 35 years, passed away at 79, leaving behind a quiet question she rarely answered. Who was the love she never stopped thinking about? Her real-life romances read like Hollywood history: Woody Allen, Al Pacino, Warren Beatty. Yet she chose independence over marriage, solitude over settling. She dismissed the idea of regret, at least in public. But near the end, Diane finally opened up about the one love that stayed with her and the choice that still haunted her. What she revealed reshapes everything we thought we knew about her life, her loneliness, and the truth she carried until the very end. Oscar winner Diane Keaton, who passed away at 79 on October 11, 2025, is being remembered not only as one of Hollywood's most distinctive actresses, but also as a deeply loyal friend and fiercely independent woman. In the weeks leading up to her death, her health reportedly declined suddenly, shocking those close to her. Over a career that spanned decades, she became synonymous with iconic films like Annie Hall, the Godfather trilogy, The First Wives Club, and Father of the Bride, roles that cemented her as both a critical and commercial force. Off-screen, Keaton's love life drew nearly as much attention as her work. She shared romances with several A-list co-stars, relationships that fascinated the public at the time but ended without bitterness. In later years, her former partners consistently spoke of her with warmth and admiration, a reflection of the mutual respect that defined those chapters of her life. Despite the depth of some of those connections, none led to marriage, though there was one man she once hoped she might someday marry. Even so, Keaton never framed her single life as a loss. In a 2021 interview with Interview magazine, she spoke candidly about why she chose not to marry. She pointed to her mother, a gifted entertainer who had won a regional award before marriage, and motherhood changed her path. "I saw how much she gave up. I feel like she chose family over her dreams," Keaton said. "I didn't want to give up my independence." Here's a look at the men in Keaton's life. Diane Keaton and Woody Allen's unshakable bond on and off screen. Diane Keaton and Woody Allen shared one of Hollywood's most intriguing bonds, both professionally and personally. Their collaboration became a defining creative partnership of the 1970s, producing films that felt unusually intimate, especially Annie Hall. The movie was so honest and personal that many viewers assumed it was a direct reflection of their real-life romance. The story follows a successful comedian who falls for a quirky, awkward singer-actress he meets on a Manhattan tennis court. Her character is shy, blurts out the wrong things, drives a Volkswagen recklessly through the city, and relies on marijuana to relax during intimacy. She comes from an anti-Semitic family in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, battles giant spiders in her bathtub, and later has an affair with a rock musician played by Paul Simon. Keaton later set the record straight. "It's not true, but there are elements of truth in it," she said, explaining that the film drew loosely from shared experiences rather than real events. Some details overlapped. Her real last name was Hall, and she did own a Volkswagen, but others were exaggerated or fictional. She described herself as a cautious driver, not reckless, and admitted she could be easily flustered around men. Marijuana, however, wasn't part of her real life outside of hair. "But it makes me a little nervous, and I feel nervous enough without it. I like a glass of wine, which makes me more relaxed," she said. Her parents, she added, were nothing like the ones portrayed in the film. They were from Balboa Island, California, and shared none of that temperament. As for spiders or rock star affairs, those were pure invention. Their real meeting was far less cinematic. They didn't meet on a tennis court, but during Keaton's audition for Allen's play, Play It Again, Sam. That audition marked the beginning of both their working relationship and personal connection. Keaton later admitted, "I had a huge crush on Woody right from the moment I saw him." Even their height difference played a role in casting. Alan, at 5 feet 7 inches, asked to stand head-to-head with her. Keaton recalled landing the role because she wasn't taller than he was. She also remembered finding him hilarious on set, which helped spark their bond. Looking back, Keaton said she never quite figured out how their friendship truly began, noting how rare it was to get close to someone as private as Alan. She often spoke about her admiration for his discipline. "He's made of steel." And talk about a work ethic. "He's one of the people that really did teach me that you have to work hard, but he wanted to. He's the most disciplined person I've known, with the exception of my dad," she said. Unlike her father, whose discipline softened after retirement, Alan's never did. She believed he would keep playing clarinet, touring with his band, and directing one film a year for as long as possible. Who in the history of movies has done that? He's 78. He makes a movie a year and he has total control. How is that possible? She wondered. Keaton fondly recalled small moments that captured their ease together, like riding in a taxi along Madison Avenue, laughing over traffic and a passing comment from the driver. "I've known Woody all my adult life, and clearly I love him. He's hilarious and brilliant. What can I say? There are few people you get to know that well in life," she said. She added, "That's why I feel privileged to be in that rarefied world of people who are old news. I've been around forever. I'm someone he's known forever. He can't get rid of me. I'll always be his friend, and that's never going to go away." Professionally, she admired how nothing, public scrutiny included, ever distracted him from his work. When she returned to collaborate with him years later on Manhattan Murder Mystery, she was reminded of his quiet precision as a director. His style could feel almost invisible, as if he weren't directing at all, yet the results were undeniable. People are excited to work with him because obviously he's one of the greatest filmmakers America's ever produced. Everybody wants to be in a quality product, and they trust him, so he's done very well with actors, she said. The process wasn't always easy and could be nerve-wracking, especially after time apart. But once filming began, the familiar rhythm returned. For Keaton, working with Alan again felt like family, demanding at times, deeply comforting, and impossible to replace. Al Pacino, the one who got away. Diane Keaton's attraction to Al Pacino began in 1971 when they were working together on The Godfather. She later admitted she had a crush on him almost immediately. What started as admiration grew into something deeper. She was drawn to his charm, his humor, and the way he could talk endlessly about anything. To her, Pacino seemed like a kind of lost soul. Brilliant, magnetic, unpredictable, and at times frustrating. That mix only made him more fascinating, and Keaton became deeply attached during their time together. But the relationship eventually reached a breaking point. Pacino had no interest in marriage, and Keaton, who hoped their bond would naturally lead there, finally pushed for clarity. She gave him an ultimatum, and it ended the relationship. Looking back, she was candid about her own mistakes. "I worked hard on that one," she admitted. "I went about it in not a perfect way." In later reflections, Keaton described Pacino as the love who truly slipped away. She said she never expected a dramatic proposal, only that marriage might happen on its own. But that never happened, and that is a blessing for both of us. It would have been a nightmare for him, she said, acknowledging how incompatible their needs ultimately were. Keaton believed Pacino needed someone who could take care of him, while she herself longed for a partner who would care for her in return. In the end, she understood that letting go was necessary, even if it wasn't what she wanted. "It was just very important that we left each other alone, said goodbye," she said quietly. "But it wasn't my choice." Al Pacino has spoken just as fondly about Diane Keaton over the years, often recalling their connection with obvious affection. At the AFI Life Achievement Award, a tribute to Diane Keaton, he reflected on their bond and said it felt as if he had known her his entire life, shaped by countless shared moments and memories. He remembered that they first really connected in East Harlem at a small neighborhood restaurant where the Godfather cast used to gather. It was there, in that intimate setting, that Keaton also met Marlon Brando for the first time. Pacino also shared a more personal story from that period, one that revealed Keaton's quiet support. As he was nervously heading out for an interview, something he always dreaded, Keaton stopped him with a bit of advice. She told him he would be fine, but no matter what, he should never say he was an artist. Pacino laughed as he recalled the moment, calling it good advice. But then he turned serious. Closing his tribute, he gently took it back. "But I have to say now, dare I say it, forgive me," he said. "You are an artist, Diane. You are a great artist. I remember it and I love you forever." Warren Beatty. From distant admiration to complex connection. When Diane Keaton spoke about Warren Beatty, it was clear her fascination began long before they ever crossed paths. She once recalled watching Splendor in the Grass in 1961 and realizing she had developed a full-blown teen crush on him. To Keaton, Beatty was magnetic, stunningly handsome, charming without effort, and unmistakably a movie star. His performance in Bonnie and Clyde only deepened her admiration, not just for his screen presence but for his skill as a director and producer. Years later, in the early 1970s, as her own career was starting to rise, she finally saw him in person. She remembered standing inside a bookstore at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel and spotting Beatty in the lobby. "I thought, my God, he's so beautiful. It was like there was a light," she recalled. "He looked at me for a second, and then his eyes passed me by. I thought, I'll never know him. He'll never be somebody in my life." A few years later, after the success of Heaven Can Wait, they did become involved. Their relationship was passionate, complicated, and often turbulent. Those close to them described it as intense, fueled by strong personalities on both sides. Jeremy Pixar, a research consultant Beatty once hired, summed it up bluntly. "Warren was always trying to please Diane, which was not easy, which is why he wanted to do it so much. He really likes women who kick his expletive. He always moaned about it, but I think it's what drew him to her. She was very difficult." Pixar later claimed that Beatty once gave Keaton a pair of handcuffs as a Christmas or birthday present. He joked that he took it as a playful, ironic nod to the idea that Beatty wanted to keep her under control. Or, as he put it, maybe they were simply into that kind of thing. Beatty, however, brushed off any scandalous interpretation. He said the whole idea amused him, but insisted it wasn't meant in a risque way. And there would be about as much chance of Diane Keaton being into that kind of stuff as there would be of her becoming interested in skydiving, he argued. Keaton, for her part, always described Beatty as one of the most complex and captivating men in Hollywood. "He is curious about everyone," she said. "He is so seductive in that regard. He makes you feel like you are the only one, the person that matters, that you are just absolutely fascinating, you know?" Laughing. "And it's with everyone across the board. He just has this presence." Beatty also admitted that fame gave him access to extraordinary women, not just admired for beauty, but for intelligence, talent, and character. And when he spoke about Keaton, his admiration was unmistakable. "I love her. She's a combination of integrity and humor and intelligence and fairness and, did I say beauty? A brilliant comedic sense," he said warmly. Keaton later shared that working with Beatty on Reds in 1981 was one of the most meaningful chapters of her career. She credited him with giving her the freedom to explore a deeper, more transformative kind of love through her character, an experience she felt changed her life from ordinary to extraordinary. And for Keaton, being directed by him while acting alongside him created moments she never forgot. Rumors flew about Keaton and Keanu. Keaton's passing also leaves behind one lingering question about her love life. In 2005, rumors swirled that Keanu Reeves had ended his relationship to pursue a romance with Keaton after they starred together in Something's Gotta Give. In the 2003 film, Jack Nicholson played an aging playboy dating the daughter of Keaton's character, while Reeves portrayed the gentle doctor who falls for her instead. Off-screen, speculation grew, but nothing was ever confirmed, and neither Keaton nor Reeves addressed it publicly. Years later, the two reunited at the 2020 Academy Awards to present the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. On stage, they shared warm smiles, reminisced about how much fun they'd had making the film, and exchanged mutual praise, telling each other, "You were amazing." It was a small moment that quietly reignited old curiosity, without ever offering answers. What remains certain is that Diane Keaton lived fully and on her own terms. She is survived by her two children, Dexter and Duke, and by the lasting memories she left with everyone she loved, and who loved her in return. Every man Diane Keaton loved seemed to unlock a different side of her. Pacino pulled at her heart, Woody Allen sharpened her artistry, and Beatty awakened a more daring, fearless part of who she was.